This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Hello, everyone. We are here with another fun Friday edition of the Meltdown. Thrilled to have you on board as we broadcast from the Culver studio, live here from our Disrupt Media offices. And we are thrilled to have gone through yet another week with you, whether you are watching here live on YouTube daily, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, or you're listening in podcast form. We really appreciate you being a loyal Meltdonian. I am Tim Melton, joined as always by Tyler Lionel Johns. Tyler, we went to the movies last night.
Yes, we did.
We both saw Y2K. This is a Kyle Mooney directed film where he's also a character within this, a stoner character, as you've seen in the previews. We probably have differing opinions on this film.
I know we do.
Our non-spoiler thoughts are you had a really good time, and I thought it underachieved the greatness that it could have potentially achieved had it been a little bit of a tighter script.
I do think with a tighter script, this would have overperformed my expectations. But I mean, with a horror teen comedy, you know what you're getting.
See, I'm not willing to let it off the hook as easy. You're
Really?
like, yeah, you should just expect not such a great time. I feel like it had.
I had a great time. I'm saying you should not expect the tightest story writing and just world building in it. This was something to tide you over until
Building.
yeah.
It's not an expectation I had going into this movie. You know that.
Well, I'm saying with the logic within the movie. I'm not saying it's establishing a lot of lore.
Here's what I'm promising. Our spoiler review may be the most contentious one we've ever done because you'll defend this movie. I'm going to be pretty critical of this movie, and audiences will ultimately decide whether or not this thing is going to feast or famine at the box office. But I think it is the biggest release of this weekend for sure. So we'll have our spoiler thoughts out there, and I see Tyler already rearing up, ready to throw a punch this way. All right. I sound like Jim. We have Taylor Korn here with us in the studio. Taylor, I'm sorry. It feels like you walked into the middle of two dorm mates here that are sort of fighting or having some sort of difference of opinion on pop culture, but that's kind of what the Meltdown is.
Yeah, that makes like fun.
A little bit for sure. I went and saw 2 movies yesterday. The other movie that I went to go see was a movie called Werewolves. And I don't know if you've ever seen a werewolf movie in your entire life. I would say probably not.
I have not.
But let me tell you, if you're in the mood for a really bad but fun werewolf movie, this is it. Because just let's take this as if it was a real world scenario and how you would survive this.
Okay.
The moon has become a supermoon for the second time ever in human civilization that is turning people into werewolves. If you get into the moonlight, you turn into a werewolf that's about 5 times your current size, that where you want to rip everybody apart. And this is a thing that they're trying to combat with what they're calling moon screen, which is the opposite of sunscreen. Yes. And the government is testing out moon screen to spray on people so they don't turn into werewolves, because the last time this happened, over 1 billion people died. If you've not heard of this movie, there's a reason why. There's no marketing budget for it because they put literally every penny they had, I think, on the screen for this. It stars Frank Grillo, and he's really great in it, but it is a really fun, awful movie, and it's really dumb, and I don't recommend this being the movie that you rush out to the theater to see, considering you don't go to the theater too often, Taylor.
No, I have a few questions for you.
Please.
How do they decide the test, the guinea pig for the screen?
Right, it's voluntary. So people sign up for whether or not they want to be a part of the test to see if the moon screen works. And
Why would you want to be a part though?
I do wonder, I don't know, maybe it was briefly explained in there if these people get paid. I assume they get paid a large amount of money to be these guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Those government tests are the ones that pay you
Yeah.
good money if you like to sign up for random experiments and studies.
It
I
seems,
almost did recently. Not for moon screen,
It's not,
but
it's not a bad way to pick up extra cash.
hold on, that's the way more interesting story. Can you disclose what you almost signed up for?
yeah, I guess it wasn't really signing up. It was it's not really the same thing as moon screen at all. But
I would hope not.
it was I don't know if this is actually related at all by any means. It was more of like a I don't know if FDA is the right word, but it was a surgery that was not approved in the United States yet. If they had done it before, it was like in the process,
Right.
but I would have been a guinea pig.
And so you would have had to have gotten this surgery?
Yeah, but it was a surgery that I was already having to get. It was a different thing. It was this machine, but it was
Oh, yeah.
a different type of it.
We've talked about this before on the Meltdown. For those that missed it, just search the Meltdown Taylor Korn, and it'll be the first appearance here in Meltdown 2.0 where you talk about your saga with that. And, after experiencing something like that, I assume that you already kind of feel like a guinea pig in
Yes.
a couple of different ways.
Yes, I do. But I was not willing to be that guinea pig because I was sick and tired of it. So I was like, I'm gonna go with something that we know works and
Yep.
is approved by our government and medical people. So I denied the opportunity.
Well, I'm glad that you're here with us and that you somehow took the motivation of Moonscreen, which is one of the dumbest things ever put onto film, and turned it into an actual real life relatable story. So thank you for that, Taylor. All right. I have to ask this question. I hope you consider it a fair one. Have you made peace with this year's Auburn football season?
Yes.
So you are probably most known for being a diehard Auburn fan, right? I mean,
I
that
would say
is
so.
your
Yeah.
connection to a lot of people is that I think your own words, you've said it's an unhealthy obsession with Auburn
Yeah.
athletics.
Yes.
And a lot of Auburn fans have transitioned themselves into basketball season. A lot of Alabama fans are already sort of right there too. Um, the Auburn football season,
hmm
massive disappointment for you, or what was sort of expected this season?
I think I personally am very good at giving myself unrealistic expectations. So I go into every season, asking myself, I'm like, could we win a national championship this year? In the past years, no. But I think that I set myself up for disappointment a lot of the time because I'm not realistic going into the season. So massive disappointment. I mean, it was disappointing, yes. I think because of the way that a lot of the games were lost. They were winnable games. We weren't a subpar team to a lot of the teams that we lost to. It was mistakes, which was hard for me to swallow. But I mean, what can you do?
I think it was it the Texas A&M game where it was like, oh, finally Auburn
Mhm.
was able to secure a close one here in a
Yes.
game where a lot of times with this same type of formula throughout the rest of the season, Auburn came up short.
Yeah, I
And
think
so,
all of them.
yeah, that is correct, which is I guess why I only have one example of how it went the other way. But it's got to be tough to be an Auburn fan
Yes.
that is as emotionally attached as you are because quite often you end up in a painful situation where it really rips the heart out of your chest but it makes those great moments probably that much better and you
It
know that a
does.
great moment is on the way at some point soon. Is there going to be that absolute great moment within the Hugh Freeze era in your opinion? Do you think that the ceiling is still high for him leading the team here going into 2025?
I think so. I think not all blame can be placed on one thing ever. I feel like really in a lot of well, I don't like speaking in absolutes, but the majority of the time blame needs to be shared. I think the quarterback was obviously an issue and everyone walking planet Earth is aware of that. But I think it was a big learning opportunity this past season. This is just my personal belief. I think that we were forcing an offensively because our defense looked great at the end of the season. They were on the field a lot when we had the turnover bug, but they started to look really good. And I think the issue with our offense was that we were trying to force Hugh Freeze's style of offense that he has always coached with, throughout all of his stops. But we didn't really have the personnel for it yet.
Mhm.
So, especially with Peyton Thorne, he just was like, I mean, great guy. He's always very kind to us when he was with us on the next round, but I just don't think that we had all of the pieces to the puzzle that make that work. So I think I'm not going to do the blame game on the Brian Harsin recruiting, but I do think as Hugh Freeze gets more of the style of player that he knows works in his offense, I think that that will help, if that makes sense.
Sure. You evoked his name, Brian Harsin, taking a little bit of a cheap shot there during the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
Obviously, his tweet being dissected with the imagery that was sort of hidden within there that wasn't so hidden in there.
Yeah.
You had a very emotional reaction on social media as well to that. It made its way onto the next round. And the Harsin era is something that I'm sure you're very excited to be distancing yourself from further and further as Hugh Freeze gains more control of the program and is able to get more of his personnel in there.
Yeah, and the thing that really made me mad about that post, and that's what he wants people to react, and he wants to get under the skin of Auburn fans because he feels like he was wronged, whatever. What made me mad about that whole situation, I don't know if anyone's really wondering, but it was kind of condescending because he's out there praising Jarquez and uh, I think it was when after Holden entered the portal, he was like, "Great guy, great player," being supportive, and I'm like, "Do you not understand when you're doing this backhanded, you know, dig at Auburn, what everyone knows what you're doing, it's not a secret,"
Yeah.
and he knows that, but I'm like, the guys that you're publicly backing and congratulating on success are on that team, and you're, parading around the losses of the season. So I'm like, this just doesn't really make sense to me. Like, pick your side.
Yeah.
And if you want to be supportive of the players, then don't do this, condescending tweet every week after Auburn loses the game and put on a Link t-shirt. Like, that's just, it's hypocritical in my eyes because what do you think the players feel like too? I mean, I think Jarquez is quite literally the only one left that he recruited there, but still, it's just like, don't act supportive and then do this. I don't know how much the players are paying attention to him, but that just kind of rubs me the wrong way from like a be a good person standpoint. Troll on Twitter all you want because that's what social media is for and that's what makes it entertaining, but don't act like you're supportive of the players, but then also, like, we all know that you're smiling in your basement when they lose.
Yeah, it does feel like Auburn coaches, when they exit the program, there is still this level of respect, or there is a level of, I still kind of want to live in Auburn. It's such a
Yeah.
great place. And there's still that connection even years down the road. And it doesn't feel like it's going to be that way with Harsin, especially after all these shots that have been fired on social
No.
media. But it felt like that kind of from the get that he was an outsider then, and he still feels like an outsider today. So it doesn't feel like he has many defenders there within the program at all,
No.
including in the fan base. So I appreciate your transparency on all of that, but I'm sure that you're fired up, ready to see what he does next
Yeah.
because it seems like he continues to sort of want to poke and prod. All right, let's talk a little bit about this. I'm headed up to Nashville this upcoming weekend, and I'm looking very forward to kind of getting away for a little bit, and I'm going to check out a Titans Jags game, which is not the most captivating of on-field experiences, but I'm going to be having a great experience there on game day on Sunday, and I'm looking very forward to that. But Nashville has become a hotbed for bachelorette parties. And Tyler, I don't know when the last time you were in Nashville was. I know you've been to Gatlinburg sometime in the recent past, but Nashville, you cannot go a block without seeing either a group of bridesmaids or some sort of pedal car or some sort of party bus or just somebody wearing a sash. I mean, it's everywhere. And I just am warning you that if you go, it's a little bit of a culture shock there on Broadway, especially.
Wow, I really haven't been to Broadway that much. This conversation has me realizing it's like, no, I didn't see that. Nope, nope. Oh, that's because I was out in Franklin most times. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Played in a soccer tournament in Franklin every year.
Yeah. I'm expecting this weekend at some point I'm gonna look up, there's gonna be a party bus full of bridesmaids, and Tyler's gonna be in the middle of them, like, and I'm gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, the young man ended up listening to me, and now he's partying, listening to some Genuine." All right. I don't know why I chose that out of my back pocket. You've been a bridesmaid a couple of times here, Taylor. It's always a fun thing, I assume for you, even though, um, I guess it can be stressful if it's during football season and you have a lot of things you gotta get done, and there's a lot of football weddings, and I'm sure you're passionate about that subject.
I am.
Have any of the bachelorette parties ever been in Nashville, Tennessee?
No.
You've avoided that
I have
somehow.
avoided that. I've avoided the scene of a Nashville bachelorette party, thankfully.
Wow. How many times would you say you've been a bachelorette?
I was a maid of honor in my sister's wedding, and then 2 of my best college friends, I was a bridesmaid in their wedding, so I've been in 3.
Okay, 3. So, um, bachelorette parties, avoiding Nashville. That's interesting to me. When was the last time you were in Nashville? Anytime recently?
I was in Nashville for the SEC basketball tournament and for SEC media days. And at the basketball tournament, it was just me and Dunaway up there. And I was really trying to get him on one of those pedal cart bar hopping things with a group of bachelorette party people. And he was like, "Sure, if you can somehow facilitate this
Oh,
and make this happen, then okay." Because I was like, "This will be the greatest video maybe ever. Dunaway in a bridal party."
so how did it fall through? Because obviously the video does not
It
exist.
does not. And I got kind of nervous because I was worried about equipment-wise. I was like, we're gonna have to have you mic'd up somehow because that's gonna be the goal of this, is the things that Dunaway says to a bride-to-be." And I got nervous I was like, if we have alcohol by the 3rd stop, people are probably gonna be spilling things,
Mhm.
and I just don't know if it's a great idea, and it was probably gonna be a stretch to find a bachelorette party that was gonna, allow us to join them.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, you can only be told 9 times before
Mm,
groups 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 show up, and you have a chance at more options there.
true.
But did you notice during your time in Nashville the influx of bridesmaids that are there
Yes.
celebrating, thinking they're the only group that are going to be in town doing that?
Yes. Yes. Every time I'm there, there's a girl in all white with a veil on walking down the street in, like, a little white dress, and then, everyone else in a matching outfit, and I'm just like, "Oh, man."
The last time I was there, I actually saw a groom and bride that I guess had just gotten married, and they wanted to walk down Broadway and get pictures taken, I guess.
Mm,
And
bold.
I mean, the crowd was applauding and stuff. It was like something out of a Hallmark movie. I mean, it was magical. All it was missing was like snow in the air, but that was like September, so I don't think that that would have happened. But I'm interested to see how many groups of bridesmaids I run into
A
this
lot.
upcoming weekend because I have a feeling you hear them first,
Yes.
and then you are able to witness them. Um, Tyler, it sounds like it would be a very fun time for you if you were to join me. You want to come hang out in Nashville this weekend?
I'm okay. Thanks. I got a lot of movies to see this
You
weekend
do.
to cover for the
You do.
channel.
You do. Tyler, what will you be covering for the channel? What can people be looking out for?
Oh gosh, so many movies. There's The Order,
Mhm.
which has Nicholas Holt and Jude Law. There's a movie called Stay Away, which is a horror movie that I know absolutely nothing about. There's Werewolves with Frank Grillo and Lou Diamond Phillips, which you saw yesterday. There's an anime movie called Solo Leveling, and there is an animation movie that is getting a lot of praise for best international movie. It's an animated movie called Flow. It is from Latvia and has no dialogue.
Oh my gosh, what? How do you even watch that?
I promise you, no bridesmaid that is in Nashville this weekend will have seen that movie. I promise you,
I can promise you
1000%.
that.
None of them will have seen that. All right, let's go ahead and get to a big topic that we have planned for you today. On our Meltdown Countdown, I give a topic to one of our crew, and they give us the countdown that matters the most to them. And this time, it is Tyler that's been assigned with coming up with the 5 subscriptions that actually seem worth it. Now, it does feel like there are so many companies that are moving to a subscription model with a lot of their either content or product. And a lot of times you can actually come out really good if it's a product, especially that you already use and you want it at a discounted price on a more regular basis. Those subscription models can work really well. And then sometimes you're like, oh man, I forgot I was paying for that. And then, 3 months afterwards, you're like, man, I got to figure out how to cancel this whole thing. And there's some companies that they run their whole business model around how you end up canceling subscriptions. So, Tyler, when it comes to this sort of question of which subscriptions provide the best value, how did you approach that from a consumer standpoint?
So first off, I had to eliminate Cover Crimson and the Barn
That is
because we work here, and obviously those are the best subscriptions you could ever buy. Go to
100%.
covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com to learn more. Um, But you said we can't include our own subscriptions, so I had to skip over those as hard as it was, and so I
Taylor wants to know which one you would have ranked ahead of the other.
Yeah. Do you wanna fight or not? It's Friday.
obviously the Barn Auburn, you get all the insight from Zach Blackerby, Brad Law, Charlie Five. Taylor scared me so much I couldn't even speak. But
He
Uh,
cowered down way more to you than he did with me with the movie review thing. I mean, he's way more terrified of you. So,
That imagine
I mean,
a world.
if you just looked at the lineup, it's like, who hurt you? And it would look like it was the big bearded, crazy looking man, but it's actually Taylor that scared the daylights out of you. But anyway, you don't have to actually go through all of those different reasons why you would pick the Barn or Cover Crimson.
Mhm.
I do want to get into sort of how you started off this list with number 5, though.
So, to start off this list to compile them, I went with subscriptions I already have, ones I have had, and one that I would very much like to have. But number 5, Tim, you're a vinyl collector. Have you ever heard of vinyl? VNYL.
No.
This is a vinyl subscription box where every month you get a box of records delivered to your door based on your music tastes. You plug in your Spotify, your Apple Music, your whatever you have, and they will curate a selection of records to your liking every single month. You listen to the ones you have or that you want to listen to. And if you don't like one of them, you can send it back and they'll send you a replacement and say, we'll do better next time to give you something you actually want to listen to.
Do you keep them all?
Yep, you get to keep them. So if you're looking to build a record collection, vinyl is definitely a good way to do that. And also, you mentioned your Nashville trip. An alternative to this could be Third Man Records, the Vault subscription, which Jack White's record store, he includes a lot of different little special edition 7-inch records, different little limited edition live pressings of all of his artists and all of the White Stripes stuff if you sign up for the Vault through them.
I used to subscribe to a service called Gamefly, which I'm sure you've heard of.
I remember Gamefly.
And back when physical media was the only way you could play games,
Yes.
now it's all digital downloads and subscription models and all that. Gamefly was a tremendous value. It was basically like Netflix DVDs, but it was video games through the mail. And man, I wore out some Gamefly, and you would play the games, and then instead of paying for them, which you still had the option to pay for them at a discounted rate if you wanted
Yeah.
to keep a game, you would send them back, and then they'd send you the next thing that's in your queue. And it was I did that for years and years and years until eventually Xbox Game Pass came out, which I don't know if it's on your list or not, but this one with the vinyl records, the price point's going to be interesting to me because remind me again how many records you get and what the cost is on this.
So I believe when I had it, I got 3 records a month for, I want to say it was like 25 bucks, 25, 30 bucks.
Inflation, man. It's got to be cheaper or more expensive
It's got to
now.
be more expensive now. It's got to be.
It's got to be. I assume it's probably closer like
can look.
40,
Yeah.
50.
I'll do some
Yeah,
research over
check
here.
on it.
Okay, well, it's still an
It
interesting
it
model
was it
to
was
me.
it was a great deal back in the day, and you get to find a lot of new bands that you might not listen to otherwise, but they compile all your Spotify songs and say you think you'll like this.
I try very hard to have a curated vinyl collection that is everything I own I like. And so what would be tough for me is experimenting with, okay, this is okay. I'm going to keep it in this corner and then I'm going to have everything I like over in this corner. I would feel like I'm almost disrespecting a lot of the artists that I would be sent, but I'd be willing to look into this, especially if it's a way to get some things you want that that you want at a discounted rate for
Mhm.
sure, because vinyl just keeps going up and up and up
Oh
right
yeah.
now with so many people that feel like they have to have all 40 versions of the same album.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of bands that I listened to through this service. Now, I also found a few bands that I'd never heard of, and some bands that I had heard the name of, I knew it was kind of tangentially related to some other bands that I like, but I'd never checked them out. Excuse me. And that subscription service gave me the chance to do it and also
I,
return stuff I didn't end up
I think
liking.
it's a strong start. If we got a price, you got a price point on it, Taylor?
Yeah, so if you would like 1 record per month, the price is $22. If you would like 3 records a month, the price is $39. But but if you want 3 records a month and you commit to 3 months, then you get a whopping $2 discount, and it is $37 a month. And then 30 I'm kind of confused about this. The 36 records per year. It says it's $35 a month, but
3 times 12. So 3 a month, 12 months.
okay.
36.
Okay, so this is not giving me a great description. I'm not very good at mental math right now.
It's okay. You're just live on air.
uh, okay, yeah. So 36 records in a year, and that's $35 a month. So basically, I don't really know.
Okay.
That works out
Well, still,
to what? $12 a record?
it's a great deal for you can't find new, especially, are these all new?
All new in the shrink
That's,
wrap.
yeah, that's a pretty good deal if you're able to get some gems, even if just 2 out of the 3 are something you really, really like,
Mhm.
it's a good deal. Okay, Tyler, starting off strong with number 5, and I'm gonna potentially look into it and have a difficult conversation with my wife. Let's move on to number 4 on this Meltdown countdown.
Number 4 on my list is one I've actually never personally used, one I've only heard about, one I'm very interested in, and I think when I bring up the picture, you'll see why I don't have it now, but I am very much looking forward to being able to use this subscription, and that is the farmer's dog. I love dogs. I used to have a bulldog named Ellie Mae, and
Cool
sadly,
name.
she's no longer with me. But whenever I get a new dog, I will make sure to get the farmer's dog, so that way they get real human food, and I don't have to worry about any new studies coming out that show the links between processed dog food and cancer, because that's how I lost Ellie Mae, and I don't want to go through that again. So even if it's just a bit more per month for me, you can't tell me that it's not worth it, because look how happy that bulldog is on the screen, and you want your dog to be that happy too.
Okay, now, Tyler, you attended Auburn,
Yes.
you're an Alabama fan,
Yes.
but you are a Bulldog fanatic.
Absolutely love bulldogs. Best breed you could ever own.
Okay, I'm not saying you have to be a Georgia fan because you're a Bulldog fanatic, but you have expressed your love for UGA here on the program. I do feel like you have a little bit of a college identity crisis, but we won't get into that. We won't psychoanalyze that, even though you double majored with psychology being one of your majors. I'm just giving your whole history here.
Yeah, go for it.
But the peace of mind that you would get from a subscription service like that is definitely worth it. And it kind of gets you in that routine of you don't have to worry about running out
Exactly.
because there's no worse feeling. I fed my cat today and then realized the bag's empty and I'm about to go on a trip and I'm like, I got to get to the supermarket and get some more cat food. This is something for cat owners too, or just dog owners?
I believe they have a similar program for cats, but the farmer's dog is their dog.
Taylor, well, oh, gosh, it is called the farmer's dog. I should have answered my own question there. Sorry. Taylor, are you more of a dog or cat person?
Dog.
Okay, well, that was quick.
That's a good choice.
I'm more of a cat person. I don't know. Does that make me judged here within the chat and
No.
with every?
Oh.
I don't think that makes you judge. I just think that, well, I don't know what kind of personality your cat has, but I feel like dogs are more personable. And
My
cats,
cat's a psychopath.
okay. Well, that's fun, I guess. But I feel like cats a lot of the time are just like in a corner somewhere being quiet.
Yeah.
And I don't want the dog to bark by any means all the time, but I feel like they're more people.
No,
It's like a people person, a people dog.
I'm figuring it out that it's somehow I attract a lot of psychopaths within my life, and I'm not quite sure if a subscription service is going to solve that. But if it can, I'm very interested. And Tyler, it's a very strong choice at the number 4 spot. All right, Tyler, let's move on to number 3 as we're getting into our medal stand now here of this Meltdown countdown.
You mentioned Xbox Game Pass. I don't have an Xbox. I've got PlayStation.
Mhm.
We've got a similar program over there called PlayStation Plus.
Not as good.
I still
Oh.
like it. I still like it. You still get the free games every month and discounts plus your online service and everything else. And I've gotten some great games that I probably wouldn't go out and pick up on my own, just because I paid $10 a month for having online. So
Yeah, there's different tiers to the PlayStation system
that
where
that is how they get you. They got different tiers, and you'll be scrolling through the available games, and you'll say, "Oh, I could get this old PS1 game on here. I could go back play some Crash Bandicoot." It's like, no, no, you need the platinum tier for that. You need the premium plus or whatever they call it.
By the way, big kudos to you. I'm really enjoying what you're doing with showing us more imagery of your list here, so that's awesome for sure. But I do feel like you being a PlayStation person, me being more of an Xbox person, that I've had both services. Game Pass is just a better bang for the buck, but both services, I think, are changing the entire way people consume games.
I agree.
And it's really nullifying a lot of new releases too,
Oh
because
yeah.
it's tough for those new releases to find audiences.
Black Ops 6, it went straight to Game Pass, didn't it?
That is correct. The Indiana Jones game, I believe, goes straight to Game Pass.
Mm.
And that's the one that I've been seeing the most buzz about here lately because it's the big title that's new and who knows if it's going to be any good. But first person Indiana Jones, where I don't know what they did with the actual character and whether or not that's Harrison Ford's voice or that's a voice actor or what, but it sounds really good. And I hope that the gameplay is just as fun. But it looks like first person Tomb Raider a little bit. So
Yeah, a little bit.
it's fun. All right. Let's move on to number 2 on this Meltdown Countdown.
So this one was tough because as you've seen with my previous picks, these are all sort of different subscriptions. I'm not picking 2 TVs, 2 movie subscriptions, 2 uh vinyl subscriptions. I'm picking one in each category. So this one was very tough because there's 2 main subscription services I use, but the one I ended up going with for this is Max. It just narrowly beats out Amazon Prime. I like Amazon Prime. I like the ability to rent things on Amazon Prime as well. But just off rip, out of the box, if you want to call it that, off the download, Max has the best bang for your buck, in my opinion, with all of the Warner Brothers material, all of the reality shows you get from the Discovery merger, HBO shows. It's just a great pick.
So everything you just said, I personally agree with, except for the fact that Amazon Prime has so many other features outside of content consumption to where when you're not paying for shipping on things, it in terms of it being a subscription service, yes, Max, you can watch, Game of Thrones and you can get all that great content. But for Amazon, especially around the holidays, it's tough to beat the fact that being a Prime member has those perks of the shopping side too. So I don't know if you factor that in. If you're just going straight with content delivery, I agree with you.
So I actually did not factor in the shipping side of Amazon Prime because I don't shop a whole lot on Amazon. I think it's probably the place I shop the least online,
Really?
surprisingly.
So you're the one.
Yes, I'm the one person who just never uses it, and I got Prime um to what were we watching? Fallout, I believe,
It was.
and
Yeah.
I just kept it. And every occasional Amazon package I get just gets there fast now.
Yes, you are the reverse of what is the majority of America, which is you're an Amazon Prime member for the content instead of the actual, shipping perks.
That's why I feel like you might be the only one. Actually, when
There's a
when you
chance.
said Amazon Prime, I didn't even think about a movie.
Right.
I was like,
Oh.
I'm actually getting a package delivered today.
There's a stat I've always wanted to know, and that is what percentage of Americans don't realize their Amazon Prime subscription comes with a streaming service?
Me until Thursday night football games started being played on there, I
Oh,
think.
really?
I mean, well, y'all know I don't watch anything
That is
ever.
correct.
So I never was seeking it out. So I never seek out shows to the point where I would find out that it was on Amazon Prime.
What we like to do here on this program is break down gender stereotypes, which is all the men are just guzzling beer and watching football and eating wings, and all the ladies are watching,
A rom-com.
a rom-com. And, me and Tyler are off watching all the rom-coms, Jim Dunaway as well. And you and EG are just watching every minute of football that exists out there.
Yeah.
And it really is, we're breaking traditional societal norms on this show. And I like to think that we are, moving the cause forward here, Taylor.
I think we are.
Absolutely. We bring you in to talk about football. We're the opposite of the Chiefs games now, right? So you watch the Kansas City Chiefs for the football, and we watch it for the Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
which makes no sense. But we have to keep up with the Taylor Swift angle here on the Meltdown.
Yeah.
Tyler's like, don't include me in this.
Yeah.
But you know what I
Who's
mean.
we?
But you know what I mean. Like if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce end up getting engaged to be married,
We're covering that and not the
we're
Chiefs
covering
winning
that.
the game.
But if the
Exactly.
Chiefs win the biggest game of the year, we're mostly talking about the commercials during the game. We're a little bit more of the entertainment brand here. So it's interesting, but there's so real quick.
Okay.
They're making a holiday movie off of the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce story that
Yeah.
is supposed to be sort of I think it's called a Chiefs.
Christmas.
I don't know. It's not a Chiefs Christmas, but that would be good.
I was
But
like,
it's something silly like that.
Yeah, I only know that because I'm pretty sure Dunaway brought it up.
But the amount of individuals who now watch football because of Taylor Swift, I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? It's a
It
crazy
is
story.
crazy. It is crazy.
That movie. You're gonna love this title, Tim. Holiday Touchdown.
No,
Chiefs
no,
love story.
no,
And
no.
they've got a little cat dressed like Patrick Mahomes.
No way.
He's got the broccoli hair.
Oh my
No,
god.
Who
I'm
signed
gonna
off
throw
on
this up
this?
on the
Please
screen
put
because
Taylor on
it's
camera because
amazing.
she's having a literal meltdown right now.
Who signed off on that?
The Hallmark Company.
Yeah, and guess what? It's going to be watched a
Oh,
bajillion times.
Every single 9-year-old girl that is like turned into the football fan because of Taylor Swift, like the younger girls,
Mhm.
they're going to be having slumber parties and like be dressing up for it's going to be one of those type things, I think, like we did with the Hannah Montana movie, probably.
I think it will show up on the Richter scale when the Chiefs lose, the amount of young girl tears that are shed, all at the same exact time, of the wailing at these slumber parties
Yeah.
because they're rooting for the Chiefs for one reason and
Yeah.
one reason alone. But a lot of people go, it's either going to be great because they're going to get married and it's going to be a huge media sensation, or it's going to go great because they're going to break up and it's going to be a huge media sensation.
Win-win.
Honestly, though, which one would be the bigger story? The wedding of the century, or they break up and she's going to release an album and, oh, by the way, there's some dramatic twist to that? Like, which is, in your opinion, is the bigger seismic shift in the pop culture landscape, considering it is rooted in being a football story?
I think from the pop culture standpoint, definitely a breakup album, because I think in the sports world it would be them getting married because everyone had this is a setup, this isn't real, whatever, that narrative for so long. But the pop culture side of things, I think the football fans kind of fall off if the album comes out. I don't think that many people that only really know about this, or I mean, everyone knows who Taylor Swift is, but the people that hear things about the relationship because they watch the NFL aren't gonna be staying up till midnight when the album drops, releases, whatever.
It would be our equivalent, though, of a royal wedding here in America if Taylor Swift and Kelce get married anywhere within the sight of the media where it can be covered as an event. Question is, will they do that, or will they go off and have some sort of super exclusive private thing that can't be debunked by any sort of media member? I don't know.
I think they would do super exclusive, super private. I bet some creepy person will debunk it, but I mean, it's hard. I don't think it'll be public by any means.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already got people online using like advanced trigonometry to track Taylor Swift's jet.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's too much. That is too much. Do something better with your time.
I can't do basic trigonometry, much less advanced trigonometry.
Exactly.
All right, let's get into that number one spot on the Meltdown Countdown of what you feel like provides you the absolute best value there as a subscription service. And you said off air that I would probably know this answer. I knew then what it was. I know what it is now looking into your eyes. And Tyler, you get the absolute most out of this for sure.
I do, because AMC's A-List gives you access to 3 movies every week for the price of $21.95. You see 2 movies in a month. It pays for itself.
Mm-hmm.
I see like 12, sometimes more. So I'm getting the most value out of this subscription possible. If you were to add up the cost of buying individual tickets for every movie I've seen this year, it would be astronomical, unaffordable, and A-List is truly the only way that the Meltdown has been able to put out so much content.
That is 100% correct because our expense budget for the Meltdown would go way up if we were paying for all of these out of pocket or through the company. And the ability to be able to have this subscription service that not only does a really good job, and we have a whole video talking about AMC, can they survive the theatrical exhibition industry, what the future of movie delivery is. Go check out that video, not hard to find here on the channel. But not only do you get the perks of the 3 movies a week as a part of this subscription, but you also get the perks of some
Snacks.
discounts at the concession stand. You earn up, loyalty reward money. You earn the opportunity to exist more in that habitat than just the standard moviegoer who's actually punished the most by walking in
Oh,
and trying
yeah.
to just pay for a ticket.
Yeah, the people who just wanna go to the movies on a weekend, walk up and buy a ticket, you are getting absolutely screwed. Do not do that. That is the worst cost-effective way to go to the movies these days. You've gotta have the A-list membership, you've gotta have the app, and you've gotta book your tickets in advance. It's the way to do it. I know there's a lot of barriers between a lot of
Mhm.
the people with like the walk up crowd and how I do it, but you cannot
Let me
deny the savings.
um,
It is so much savings that I can't stop talking about it. Like in this tweet that I am putting up on the screen now. Yeah, this is what I do uh every day. Bring it up on dates. When I'm hanging out with friends, you just can't stop talking about A-list because it's so great.
okay.
Wow.
That was I've never heard Tyler is impassioned for anything more than that, and the fact that he's gonna be using his A-list to see Sonic 3 in a very short time. This month, actually,
Oh, yeah, December 19th is the
December
fan
19th.
event.
You're very excited about that. Oh my gosh, Tyler, that tweet, the word cinephile immediately would, upset EG for some reason, but, yeah,
She
that
gets
that's
very upset by that word.
she gets upset by the word cinephile. She doesn't realize that it's actually a term people use in common language here, but,
She gets
um,
upset by scrimp as well, but
that is
that
correct.
is not a word used in common language.
But getting back to AMC A-list, there was something, very provocative I think I was going to bring to the table, but for some reason my mind has melted and I can't remember what it is. But it is I was going to say there's a caveat to what you said about if you're not using this, you're getting hosed. If you're the type of person that knows you're going to go to the movies at least once a month even, it's
Yeah, I
worth
mean,
it.
yeah, because if you go to a Prime or an IMAX,
Yeah,
or you would like to just try those out
right.
once, it's the way to go.
However, if you're someone who goes once in a blue moon, like you just show up when Oppenheimer and Barbie's out, or you just show up when Gladiator and Wicked come to town, maybe not for you. Maybe you do benefit from not having that recurring subscription there, but AMC A-List is the best value you can get for being an entertainment junkie in almost every way. And as critical as I am against AMC for a lot of different practices and not really thinking long term sometimes and not keeping their theater experience up to snuff, there's no doubt the subscription model blows away anybody that would even attempt to have something similar. I think Regal has a similar subscription process, not nearly as good.
Alamo Drafthouse has one. They still make you pay per movie. What a joke.
AMC has set the bar high when it comes to its subscription service. And I personally, if it came down to me and I could only have Netflix or I could have AMC A list, it is not even a
Easy,
competition. Give me
easy.
AMC A list and I'll take the same versus HBO Max. I would take the same with Amazon Prime, even with all the subscription bonuses that you get there and because I go to the movies so often, you go to the movies so often, we love going to the movies and it really does enhance it. The problem is, if you start going to the movies with other people, then you lose a lot of the perks that you would have otherwise just going by yourself. So it's
Wait,
sort of
why?
well, because everyone has to have their own subscription to benefit from the perks of the subscription. So if you're buying part of AMC's plan is, okay, we're going to sell a subscription to the diehard movie person in the family. Oh, wait, they want to all go. So now that person has to pay for everybody else basically a la carte. And so if me and my wife go to a movie, it's I'm not seeing it nearly as much benefit as if I just go alone. I can walk in
Okay.
and walk out of a movie experience not having paid $1 if I go alone. If I go with the wife, it's a roughly around if I go with my wife and daughter, it's roughly around $50, $60,
Oh, wow.
even with my perks. So, anyway, but I love going to the movies with my wife, and I wouldn't change that for anything. Okay.
I would argue even if you don't go to the movies a lot now,
Yeah.
having this subscription will make you go so you can just make that 21.95 stretch as far as you can. And if you've got a lot of free time in the afternoons or at night,
Yeah.
it's nice to just be done with your work and just pop over to the movies real quick. Sit in one of the nice heated recliners.
What? Wait, have you found a movie yet for me to go see?
I'm working on it. 2025 is gonna be our year. We're
Okay.
gonna get you to a movie, but
Yeah.
I have to make sure it's a movie that checks all the boxes.
Right. I
I
appreciate that.
hidden talent of mine, and I was very popular in high school because of this, class favorite 2007. I could recommend movies to people that would hit with those people to where they
Okay.
knew if they got a movie recommendation from me
They
and it was very specific for them that it would hit and they would watch it. And I have a success rate that's really high.
yeah.
And I can also tell people generally when they aren't going to enjoy a movie. Like Ryan Brown came in and said, I've never seen Silence of the Lambs. And I told him, I said, you're not going to enjoy it very much. And he was like, really? Everyone's telling me it's the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, well, it is, but you're not going to enjoy it very much. And sure enough, he came back. And what did he say, Tyler?
He said, I didn't really like that.
Yeah. So that's one of my bar talents is that I can talk movies with people and tell them exactly sort of what they like based on their flavor profile or sort of generally who they are. So I'm trying to find that for you.
Okay.
I think you would have enjoyed Twisters,
That was my next question.
but came out SEC Media Days weekend. And obviously, if there's any weekend where you don't want to go knock on Taylor's door, it's not because she's rude or anything. It's
I
because
can be.
you're not. You haven't been to me, but
Ask it away.
you haven't been to me. But like, I don't want to come in there and be like, "Hey, Taylor, you think you can go to a movie when you've got like 9,000 things to do along with traveling and video?" And that week, I know on camera it looks like so much fun, and that's really a lot of the illusion of what we do. But I'll just be honest, like it's a ton of work and it's exhausting, and people think that it's just like you're living the life,
Yes.
but it's not really like a vacation or a
No.
trip or anything. I think people think because you have traveled so often that you're just sort of like always experiencing a fun vacation type atmosphere. And I don't think they realize exactly how much work goes into it. And I just want to put that out there. And I don't say it in a condescending way. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, I think a lot of people think, like, oh man, how cool would that be to go there and be surrounded by all that? Well, the thing is, you've got to be thinking in your head the minute you land is like, how do I capture everything I've got to capture over the
Yeah.
next several days and not miss anything and make sure everything's timed out? And it can be a little overwhelming, I assume.
Very, very. And that's the thing is I mean, that's life. And that's
Yeah.
what social media is you're not seeing the part of in this scenario, the job where you're up at 1:30 in the morning editing a video. You know what I mean? So it's not like you see the fun stuff and that's what it's we don't do this for everyone to like sit and watch us work on camera.
No.
That's our job. And I
Right.
love it so much. But I started getting a lot of during the SEC basketball tournament, March Madness, that time span where I lived out of a suitcase basically for like 3 weeks,
Mhm.
and that's what I love to do. But at that time, there's a lot of people reaching out like, "Hey, how did you get started doing what you're doing?" And in the back of my mind, I'm just like, "You are seeing the 1%.
Yeah.
You are and this and it is fun, and I enjoy all of it. I
Right.
love making graphics. I love editing videos, so that's why that I don't need all of that to like my job. It's a perk, and that comes along with it, but that is probably 2% of what you spend your time doing. And I think people do get, kind of caught up in that part of it because everything else isn't publicized because it's not meant to
Right.
be.
So, like, for instance, I went to go see this movie last night. We talked about it at the beginning. It's called Y2K.
Mhm.
When I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself, as a consumer, I'm not necessarily enjoying the film very much.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that a lot of heart and work and effort and lighting and effect shots, and I know all of that went into this.
Yeah.
Tyler's already angry at me because I'm just stating that I don't like a movie,
Man,
which
we've got a whole review to get through
we're gonna
later.
get through this review, and it's gonna be potentially tense. I don't know. We haven't shot it yet, but it's potentially gonna be tense. But I respect the grind of the filmmakers and what they did on screen from a
Yeah.
logistics standpoint. It's just the art didn't work for me. But a lot of people, they consume the art and don't realize all the logistics that kinda
Right.
goes into it.
Right.
And, like, your hair could literally be on fire 5 minutes before creating something that's looked at as like, "Oh, that looked so fun."
Yeah.
Yet meanwhile, it's super stressful and, you're just happy it's out there and you can move on to the next thing.
Right.
But with you, there's always a next thing. That's
Always.
gotta be I don't know, that's just gotta I don't know how you handle that.
I don't. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Like, it's a nonstop, like, there's no deadline that actually gets completed because you just constantly have to churn out the next thing.
Yeah.
So, may God have mercy on your soul is
Thank you.
basically what I'm saying,
Thank
Taylor.
you.
Don't envy it, but I think the thing I like most about the way that you capture everything is that it's not fake. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people these days on social media that use it as a performative tool where it's like, let me just make it look like everything's perfect when really I'm feeling otherwise.
Mhm.
And I feel like we do a pretty good job up here of showing, some of the dirty laundry, but
Yeah.
also like the moments that people want to be a part of those road trips and stuff, but it's also unfiltered in a lot of different ways. I think there's just a good balance of it feels authentic.
Yeah.
And a lot of what people use social media for is the presentation of inauthenticity. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but an
Yeah.
inauthentic approach to living life where it's all about look at me, look at me, look
It's a
at me.
highlight reel.
It's a highlight reel. And it really has negatively affected a lot of people that have grown up on this stuff that are always feeling behind.
Yeah.
And I just think that once again, you could take it in a way where it could be really poorly construed, and I think that you do a good balance of promoting the content, but also pulling back the curtain enough to where people feel like they're a part of the family. So
Thank you.
good work there, Taylor.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, I didn't prepare that whole bit, but it just came out. Tyler, really like the meltdown countdown today. Any chat reaction that you want to highlight and get to? I know that there are some passionate people about the subscriptions that they have in their life, and I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to profile before we wind this one down.
Let's see here. Uh,
Here's what I'll say. One that missed the list for Tyler that is a must-have for me. I don't know if it would be more than AMC A-list, but it's right there. Spotify. I
Yeah.
have to have Spotify.
Me too.
Spotify should have made my list. I use it every day. I have the premium subscription.
Okay. So yeah, you agree. I mean,
Yeah.
Spotify is like
Spotify is amazing.
it's a
Yeah.
must. Have you guys done your Spotify Wrapped yet? Have you looked at
Nope.
your
Yeah. Mine's all podcasts. It's like you are the 0.01% top listener of sports podcasts. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah,
Yeah.
I feel it too.
We got to get you watching some movies and some television at some point. It's such a detox. You'll enjoy it. It's a cleanse.
I need to detox. I need to be locked in one of those rooms where they put crazy people that's just like padded walls and there's no electronics. Like, I would like to have a few friends in there, but throw my iPad out the window, throw the laptop, and just like sit for a second. I think it would be nice.
I just gave you a 2-minute ovation for having
Yeah.
such great balance in life, and now you're like, I need to be locked away in an insane
I
asylum.
do
looking at white
every now
walls."
and then. I really do. But that's Lincoln. That's my Lincoln time.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
I was gonna say, I think everybody that works in this sort of business, just content creation, probably will end up in one if they
In a
don't
box.
find that balance.
And that's probably the podcast that people need to hear the most. The one when they're in the insane
Yeah.
asylum. They should call it Asylum, and it should be. We just have $1 billion idea.
Yes.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
But yeah, Spotify should have made the list, Tyler, because I think they said in my Spotify Wrapped that I'm in the top like 5% of Spotify usage overall in the world.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Where have you been or I guess
I
you've
have
been
long drives every single day, back and forth.
Yeah.
And so I'm just on Spotify nonstop every single day.
Yeah.
It's like you listen to your favorite band 19 days in a row. That was your longest streak with this one band. And I'm like, did I really listen 19 days in a row? That's a lot
Yeah, that is a
to
lot.
not have a broken streak there. But I use Spotify a ton. We're on Spotify, by the way. So make sure you subscribe there to the Meltdown. Tyler, what you got for us in the chat?
All right. Jeff says Amazon Prime and YouTube Premium are the must-haves for him. YouTube Premium is great. Really
Oh,
great.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's got to make the list, too.
Especially clicking off the screen and it still letting the video play or the music
Yes.
play. Ooh, That is beautiful. Love it.
Beautiful.
Charles says Netflix has gone down in overall value and compared to other
They keep raising the
streaming
price.
media sources. I agree. It's
And
gone down in
kicking
value and gone up in price.
yeah, and kicking you off your parents too. I live out of the household and it logged me out of that sucker. I was like, "Oof."
You should be able to have Netflix access as long as you're able to have parents' insurance access. That's my professional opinion.
Oh, that's a good
I
play
think
there,
at
Tim. I like that.
26 you should get kicked off of both.
Yeah,
But
26, get your own Netflix.
Mm.
Hunter says AMC corporate sees their numbers climbing, thinking movie theaters are back. Nope, it's just Tyler. And you're
and
right, it
hey,
is.
don't forget EG's actually the perfect customer at AMC because EG goes and just buys the popcorn and leaves.
That's true.
And that's 100% theater profit at that point because
Yes.
popcorn costs about 2 cents to make
Yeah.
and they charge about 20 bucks. So that's if you get a drink too. That's not completely fair to say just the popcorn alone is 20 bucks.
Charles says they've got heated recliners now. Are they trying to get me to fall asleep in there? Yes. That way you have to go see the movie twice, but it's very comfortable, very cozy. I love it. Um, and Charles also started Twisters a few nights ago and had to turn it off because he just doesn't get the hype. Tornado looks great
Ooh.
though.
It's not a top 10 movie of the year for me, I don't think. Maybe I think it's definitely top 20 for me, but I'm not saying it's a great movie, but Charles, the mistake you made is trying to watch a movie like that at home because I feel
Yeah.
like being in the theater when you're more immersed in the actual visceral nature of a tornado, it's much more of an intense experience, probably a little bit harder to fall asleep in if I had to guess.
And then
But
we've also got some love for Walmart Plus in the chat. $50 a year. I don't know exactly what you get with Walmart Plus. Is that free pickups or discounted groceries? What?
so I've looked into Walmart Plus. I'm a Sam's Club member.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
I have validated in my head that I'm not going to go Walmart Plus because I'm already a Sam's Club member. But I don't know exactly what the perks would be other than if you're in an area where I think you can get free deliveries if you're in an area where they have that service, but I'm sure you could find it in 2 clicks knowing exactly what to do with Walmart Plus.
That is exactly what you get. You
Yeah.
get free deliveries, you get member prices on fuel, and the use of mobile scan and go, which allows you to scan items as you shop in store, streamlining your checkout process. That's actually pretty cool. That
Yeah.
you can just scan all your stuff as you're picking it up.
How many people are honest with that is what I would start asking.
I would hope a lot of people, but
I would hope so too, but
they
there are
check the
some
receipt at the
rascals out
door.
there. Oh,
They
yeah.
check the receipt at the
I
door.
noticed that. I went recently and because at Costco wait, first off, do you prefer Sam's over Costco for a reason?
I think it's just I have more experience with Sam's,
Okay.
and so Costco is not as centrally located to me as Sam's is. So
Okay.
it's just the
Missing out on
convenience
those
level.
churros,
Convenient.
though.
That's what I've heard. I've heard, and I've tried the Sam's hot dog.
Mhm.
Didn't love the Sam's hot dog.
That's
I'd be
because
open to the Costco hot dog if I was to be able to sample it.
Costco hot
Okay.
dog, you'll actually like it. I would say it's better than the ones they've got at the movie theater. And
Oh,
I know you take those down.
no, I really don't. I did that
Really?
one time for Terrifier, and I have not
Really?
gone back to the hot dog now.
Oh,
And the
okay.
only reason I did that was because I needed something quick. I was going to 2 movies, and I needed something quick,
Oh,
and the
you
hot dog had
thought
already been
on the
made.
roller, so it'll be quick, and then
S
it wasn't.
What made it frustrating was I order it, and I'm looking at my hot dog, and I can't get anybody to serve it to me. So if I could have just gone back there myself and bunned it up, I would have. I didn't think I'd use the term "bunned it up" on this show, but I did. What were we talking about?
I completely gone us off the rails a little and was asking why you prefer Sam's over Costco.
Right, Sam's. I just have more experience with it. But
Okay.
are you a Costco member?
My mom is and my sister. So
That's all you need.
yeah, right. I'm like, I don't go enough.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go enough right now, but they like to go. I love to go with my mom and get the samples though. Does Sam's do samples?
they do.
Okay.
They do the samples there,
That's
and I
important.
always do that trick where I'm like, "Yeah, I'll sample this," and I'm like, "Where are these located?" And then I don't actually go and purchase them.
No, I literally yeah, no. I can eat a lunch at Costco off those samples. I sample everything. It's an experience.
Right. Our BMI is very different. Our chemical makeup is very different. And you're right. You do have the luxury of being able to maybe go to a mall food court, get a quick sample and be like, okay, I don't have to eat now. For me, if I don't eat, I will collapse and die.
Yeah.
So I'm envious of you for being able to live off of the
I
samples
love a
of
sample.
Costco. But I will still get the samples, and then I just end up having to eat at the food court there. Hey, really quickly, I want to get to maybe some subscriptions that you have a top of mind here in a second. But First, we just counted down. How about if you want to chomp down and it hurts? I recommend you go to Alabama Dental Associates. They are the team that we trust most, located on Grants Mill Road. Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, Dr. Nolan. Over at Alabama Dental, they provide all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. Whether you have a nagging toothache or you need to get on top of those regular cleanings, they are there for you. Maybe you're new in town and you need to make sure you have a dentist on standby. Reach out and try Alabama Dental for yourself. They're accepting new patients now and can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205-956-8977 or visit alabamadental.com where they look forward to seeing you. Anything that didn't make the discussion already, Taylor, that you want to throw into the mix as a subscription service that you actually approve of?
Yes. This is gonna be kind of out of the box, maybe, I would say,
Does it come
but
in a box?
it does not come in a
Oh,
box.
okay.
And I don't even know if it would be considered a subscription really, but I think it is because you pay monthly. Um, the car wash. I have a car wash.
Oh, yeah.
What is that a subscription?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, it just sounds weird saying like I subscribe to the car wash, but I do. So the house that I live in right now, we don't have a garage, and I just hate I hate the way that my car looks just after sitting outside. It doesn't really have to, I'm not going mudding or anything, but it's just especially in the fall or spring when the pollen starts falling that I don't like it. And I drive a black car, so it's very noticeable.
Mhm.
And I have a subscription to the one right by where we are located. So it's very easy for me to just swing through there. Even if I don't want to vacuum, if I'm feeling a little bit lazy, I can just drive through it. I just walk in, I don't have to talk to anyone. The gate opens, I go through, and then I'm on my way.
I've always flirted with the idea of getting a car wash subscription
You should.
because I really like going through car washes. I don't know what it is about my personality type, but I find it to be like, oh man, this is like being inside of a washing machine. And I find that to be very interesting.
I like it. I like it a lot because I also don't where I live, my mom is a kind of avid, which I don't know if this is a normal thing or not, but she'll go in the driveway and she'll wash her car kind of often. Or probably not as much because it's cold now, but I don't have like a hose and all that at my house. So if I were to want to keep my car clean, I would
Mhm.
have to go to the car wash frequently, and it's a great steal. So I was like, why not?
I've got to go get my oil change today.
Ugh.
And where I go, I've already prepaid for it with the purchase of my vehicle,
Mhm.
but it just takes a long time. And so I'm going to bring that book behind you with me, and I'm just going to dive into Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl.
Yes.
And that's how I plan on spending my next couple of hours after our Y2K review, which we'll release here soon. Any other subscription models out there that you really like?
Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify for sure.
Um,
I'd tear up some Spotify.
Spotify's worth it. Not really. I mean, I'm sure I have probably 15 on my phone that I don't know about, but
Speaking of Spotify, real quick, did you guys see the list of the 10 most streamed artists in the entire world?
no.
Have you seen that list, Tyler?
I have not.
Okay, let's play a fun little game then. Without looking at the chat, can you tell me who you think, like, we'll start with Taylor. Name someone who you think is on the list of top
Taylor
10.
Swift.
Yes, number one. Top 10. Taylor Swift is number one most streamed artist globally. Who else do you think is on the list?
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish,
Mhm.
as EG calls her, fifth on the list. So that leaves 8 remaining.
I don't even know where to go after Taylor Swift because this is in the world. I don't know what other countries are like what do they listen to besides Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish?
I'm gonna go Bad Bunny.
That is
What?
correct. Bad Bunny at the number 3 spot.
Who's number
Who is
two?
number 2?
Number 2 used to be the number 1.
Drake?
Nope, but
Yeah.
Drake is in the number 4 spot. The Weeknd.
Oh, that's kind of
yeah.
random.
The Weeknd was number 1 for a long time there.
Yep.
Travis Scott at number 6.
Okay.
Yep.
This is one I don't know. Peso Pluma?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Another Latin artist.
Okay. At number 7. Kanye West at number 8.
Yep.
Ariana Grande at number 9. And another one I've never heard of. Feed. Feid.
Nope.
Number 10. Feed. Big year for Feed.
Congratulations, Speed. We're happy
That's
for
how
you.
we pronounce.
Feed is a Colombian singer.
Oh, okay. Well, good job there, Feed. The most streamed song globally. Will anybody guess this? This is the one that was streamed the most. The one song that was streamed the most. You can throw out a name of a song if you have one from this year.
Taylor
It
Swift.
doesn't once again, it does not have to be from this year either, because Cruel Summer from Taylor Swift came in the number 9 spot.
Is that the only one she has?
That is the highest one she has, is
Oh.
number 9 there. It's the only one she has in the top 10.
Most streamed song.
Most streamed songs globally.
It's Not Like Us on that list.
Not Like Us is not on this list.
Okay.
Number 1 is by Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, that
classic.
espresso.
Espresso.
Yeah, I still haven't heard that song.
It's on TikTok, everywhere on TikTok.
We were at Disney Springs a couple of months back, and there was a cover artist on the stage singing this song, and she kept calling it Espresso.
Oh, was your skin crawling a little?
Well, I was enjoying it, not realizing that it was like totally messed up. But my
Yeah.
wife, her skin was crawling to the point where she's like, she keeps saying espresso. And it just kept going and going with espresso.
Oh.
And, you know, I now when I hear it, it brings me back to that story there. But there we have it. Okay. And most streamed albums globally, Taylor Swift at the top spot, the Tortured Poets Department, the Anthology there. Billie Eilish actually the number 2 spot of most streamed albums globally. Most viral songs globally. I don't know what even that means.
What does that mean?
But I guess that's the quickest to reach a
Maybe.
Die with a Smile by Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga.
I don't know.
Top podcast globally. Number 1, The Joe Rogan Experience.
Shocker.
Number 2, Call Her Daddy. At number 3, Huberman Lab. I've never heard of that one.
Andrew Huberman.
Oh, okay. Number 4, This Past Weekend with Theo
Theo
Vaughn.
Vaughn.
And at number 5, The Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. So the Spotify Wraps are always interesting, and the midnight for me is always number 1, and it's never a surprise when that happens, of most listened to for the year for me, and I'm a big fan, and I'm hoping to see them in concert here in 2025. And what's really cool is when you get the personal message that's been recorded by the artist at the end. That's,
Yeah.
for you for being such a big fan. So I think Spotify Wrapped is awesome. Some intern came up with it, and they've dominated with it ever since.
Yeah.
And I hope that person at least got some sort of residuals for giving them what was a slam dunk idea. So that is going to do it for us here on The Meltdown. We hope to be making your Spotify Wrapped here in the year to come with 2025. Make sure you are subscribed there on Spotify, as we will have that updated for you as much as possible throughout the course of the week, so that way you can stay on top of the conversation here inside the Culver studio. We want to remind you to go visit our title sponsor. That's MyBookie. At MyBookie.ag, you can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Make sure you use that promo code NEXTROUND. There are plenty of opportunities to cash out and win, or let it ride there at MyBookie. So much to be a part of to enhance your game experience. You've also got that live casino as well there at MyBookie.ag. All right. Really enjoyed the conversation. Appreciate both of you and your collaborations. That's going to do it for us here on the live show this week. We'll be back with you live Monday, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Don't forget about our spoiler review. We've got a Y2K coming out. If you plan on seeing that one, come join us for the spoiler review. Should be a fun and somewhat heated discussion. We also have those must-see December movies lingering out there for you to check out. Maybe you haven't been to the movies here in a hot minute. You want to know what to sort of fit within your flavor profile. Check out that video that Tyler and I did, and we appreciate your support here of The Meltdown daily, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern.